Here we are in a new blend file. We're going to work with this cube. I've already imported the reference image. First things first is subdividing this cube so that we have more geometry to work with. We've got edges and vertices to work with. Let's apply that, shade smooth, and then make our way over to sculpt mode. Well, actually, let's do what we can in object mode first. I'm going to squish it a little bit on the Z, squish it a little bit on the Y. So we have a solid bird torso shape to begin with. This will make our sculpting job easier down the line. Okay, cool. I'm going to rotate that on the Y just so we can really get into the groove here in mimicking what we see. So I'm heading to sculpt mode, and in sculpt mode, we're going to want to turn on enable mesh symmetry. So we want to do that along the y-axis, I believe, so that when I pull on this side, or when I make adjustments on one side, they apply to the other. Okay, that's not quite working the way that we imagined. Maybe X. Okay, so we want to enable symmetry along the y-axis. Cool. So now we can just try to mimic the shape that we see. I'm going to start by pulling down this tail area like that. Maybe pull up, scale this brush up a bit. And really get it up there. Okay. Looks not bad. And maybe we can use the flatten brush to flatten the tail a little. Don't want it to break though. All right. And now we're going to use the grab brush to pull out these wings. So I'm going to go to overhead mode, top view, colloquially known as top view, and just try to pull these wings out. All right, this is pretty much the shape that we want. Now for the detail work, I'm going to change to the crease brush and then add these creases that I see on the inside of the wings. But as you can see, there's not much visible changes going on. And the changes that we do see look kind of broken. And this is an indicator to us that we are working with enough geometry. It's too low poly for what we want to see, despite the subdivision surface modifier that we applied. So the solution here would be to turn on something called dynamic topology, which is up here at the top on this top tab next to this symmetry option. So just click that. Click OK to this warning. And now we're rocking and rolling. So as you can see, the changes are more nuanced and subtle, we can get these detail creases that we're trying to get before. Obviously, it looks chunky because we're not in shade smooth, but that's okay. We know that we'll be able to shade smooth later. Okay, later, like now. There we go. And last thing I would like to do here is add a little bit more details and add these feather creases along the wings. So we can increase the strength to get a more pronounced crease. Oh, we need to toggle dynamic topology back on. Great, so now we have these nice creases along the wings. We can be a little bit more precise with the grab brush and then add some feathers to the little tail here, again with the crease brush. Great. And shade smooth. Okay, so now we're going to go in and smooth some of this chunkiness out. So it looks a little rough, right? So we can do that with the, I believe it's called the smooth brush. Yep, right there. Just do a little bit of smoothing. Not too much because you can pretty quickly lose a lot of detail. Ooh. I'm going to thicken this tail up a little bit. And also this wing. It's looking a bit thin to me. Okay. And we're going to try to smooth and then re-add those feathers. This is the natural process of sculpting. Add, take away, add some more. get rid of this tip. Okay. So let's try again and go in with the crease brush. Can scale the brush size down with hotkey F. And also turn dynamic topology back on. And let's try to get some of these creases back. Okay, I like the look of that. Let's do the same up here, top of the wing. And then also here on these bottom feathers. Cool, I like the way that looks. So back to object mode, shade smooth, see what we got going. All right, looks pretty good. The only thing I'm going to change here, and of course, feel free to spend as long as you want here. Change as much as you want. You know, this is so easily modifiable, and it's meant to be personalized. Okay, that looks fine for now. Let's add the head. Okay, subdivide, so Control 5, and then situate it, scale as needed, rotate, scale, and then I'm gonna add a loop cut. And then I'm going to move this edge up on the Z with proportional editing turned on. Cool. I'm going to select this face, drag it out on the X, and then scale it down. I'm going to scale the whole thing down a bit. And then I'm going to inset this top face so that I can create a beak and extrude it way out. Now we have a beak. And then last but not least, let's add this little eye indent here. So we're going to apply the subdivisions, shift over to sculpt mode, or, control tab over to sculpt mode. Grab for this purpose, I would say select the clay thumb brush, scale down with the hotkey F, and then just add a little indent for the eye. For this, I just recommend you try to make it look not demonic, which is actually kind of hard. Okay, that placement is right, but it's not quite indented enough. So to combat this, let's increase the strength of the brush and then really get in there. Oh, and we also need to turn the y-axis mirror modifier back on. This is called the Inflate Inflate Brush. And if you hold Control while clicking to apply the Inflate Brush, the opposite will happen. So like instead of inflating, it will deflate. And that's actually helping us a lot. Cool, cool, cool. And just for fun, I'm going to add a little indent here to kind of sculpt the face a little bit. That is way, way, way too much. So let's turn down the strength, increase the radius. Okay, that looks so much better. Great. And of course, feel free to spend as long as you like on this. So I'm going to duplicate the head and the body using Shift-D, and then create a new scene, label it backup, and then just hide that by unclicking, deselecting, I suppose, deselecting the collection. And then I'm going to join these two geometry pieces with Control J, so that, and then I'm going to smooth and export the entire bird as an OBJ.